Assalamu alaikum, peace. It's Nyla, Coach Nyla, one of the co-founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com. And in this video, I want to talk about a few things. One of the things is, I guess, we get a lot of questions, a number of questions, at Outstanding Personal Relationships, outstandingpersonalrelationships.com, and all that other good stuff. The thing is that an ongoing theme has been coming up in our emails, and a lot of emails that have come from sisters, have come from women, who have been practicing polygyny or just started in polygyny. I guess I can't say they were practicing polygyny. Actually, their husbands are, because polygyny is being married to more than one wife. But being a part of a polygynous marriage. And one of the things that constantly come up is how do you get over jealousy? That's one of the main things, and we've done many videos on that on the YouTube channel. My co-wife and I. One of the other things was how do I get out of this feeling of feeling some type of way. I don't even know what you even name the feeling or call the feeling, but feeling some type of way when another person come in after I've spent so much time with my husband, and now somebody else comes in and it seems as though she gets the same, she's at the same level as I am. We talked about that a little bit in our Q&A, my co-wife and I, that we did on Sunday, on one of our Sunday Q&As. However, I want to talk about it a little bit more, and I want to talk about it on the lines of identity, like establishing your identity and knowing your mission of why you got married. Like, why am I getting married, or why did I get married? Did I get married to sacrifice? Because someone posted a comment on our YouTube channel asking of how do they get out of the mental brainwash, I guess, of what Western society deems as one man to one woman type of mentality when it comes to polygyny. And although people understand the concept and they understand that it makes sense and different things like that, at least from the people who want to practice standpoint or who are practicing. However, there's still feelings, there's still emotions. That's normal, that's natural. We have emotions, we have feelings. And a number of these feelings do come from being in a society where you are constantly told that this is how your life is supposed to look. This is how marriage is supposed to look. This is how, just pretty much telling you what things are supposed to look like. And of course, we follow those things. We follow a number of guidelines to find out how are things supposed to look, how are things supposed to be. However, when you are studying about polygyny, or you studying where you find out that polygyny is a way of life that you are practicing, that is a way of life that has been around longer than monogamy, that is a way of life that, and it's a type of marriage that makes a lot of sense for family building and community building and things as far as that, and you understand that, how do you allow your emotions and your feelings to catch up with your intellect? And so I get that. I understand where people are coming from when they ask these different questions. One thing when it comes to how should I feel, or how can I get over this feeling of that I put in so much in this, I sacrificed so much, and then now someone else comes in, and then it seems as though they're at the same level as I am. One, that you have to understand that they may not be at what you call the same level because you guys are different people. But when it comes to being considered a wife, that is the same thing. She's a wife just as well as you are a wife. And I'm speaking to my ladies, of course, about this. She's a wife, you're a wife. You guys should be treated as wives. It shouldn't be like, okay, well, this is my first wife, so she got this hierarchy. or hierarchy, however people pronounce it, over the other one. Wife is wife. The thing is, your relationship with your husband is going to be the relationship that you create with your husband. Period. I talk about minding your marriage so much because that's what it is. You want to make sure that you are creating the marriage that you want. No one else should be able to come in and change that. The only way a person will come in there and change that is you allow someone to do that, and your husband allows that to happen as well. And the thing is that if you realize that you are in it for the long haul, if you said, and you guys both said, this is what we're going to do, we're going to be together and we're in it for the long haul, there are going to be times when things are going to get rough. It's not going to always be easy peasy lemon squeezy. Everything is not going to always be sunshine and rainbows. So when those rough times happen, when your life throws you for a loop, when your relationship is tried and tested, you guys have to have a plan in place to say, we are going to stick it through. And if that's what it's going to be, and you say you're going to stick it through, then you got to be able to come up with a plan of action and how you're going to deal with difficult situations, whether that be polygyny. And polygyny don't have to be a difficult situation, but the way people are set up, it seems as though they allow it to be a difficult situation. And the thing is that whether it be polygyny, whether it be a loss of employment, whether it be a move, whatever the case may be, any type of difficult situation, you should be able to deal with it, and deal with it as a couple, deal with it as a team. You should be able to be transparent enough to explain to your spouse how you feel about the situation. But you also have to sit back and take some mental and emotional time to yourself to say, is what I'm feeling valid? Or am I just in my emotions right now? So when it comes down to it, as I stated before, if your husband decides to marry another wife, and he does marry another wife, the thing is, she is his wife. You're his wife, she's his wife. She's not a mistress, a concubine, a jump down, or anything like that, a side chick, a side piece, whatever. She's not that, because he married her. So yes, you will be wife and wife, but any other thing, it's all in your mentality. It's all in our mentality of how we look at things. It's all in our perception. So as long as we are doing the things that we need to do to create the marriage that we desire, those things are going to shine more than anything else. Now, if we want to have attitudes, if we want to let jealousies rear their ugly heads and cause us to act certain ways, that's going to shine through too, or dim it down or dull it, or whatever the case may be. It will do that as well. So the thing is that you mind your marriage. You understand that a person that's coming into the marriage, or the person that your husband is marrying, is also his wife. So she gets the same rights as his wife as you do as his wife. The other thing is that looking at your relationship or looking at your marriage as a sacrifice, or that you are doing things to sacrifice, or you're sacrificing in order to have the relationship that you have, that could be an issue too. Because who goes into something that they want to have and want to be in forever, and something that they want to have that's joyful, and in Islam is considered half our deen, to say, yeah, I'm just sacrificing. If you have a negative view on what your marriage is going to be, it's going to be negative, because we bring about what we think about and what we act about and all that other good stuff, or bad stuff, however you want to put it. So when it comes down to saying sacrifice, I don't look at the things that I do anymore than I used to before, like, oh, I sacrificed this time and I sacrificed my energy. Did anybody ask you to do those things? Is this something that you're doing because you want to keep score? And I talked about that in another training about keeping score. And I want to say that was actually in the 5-day marriage challenge that my co-wife and I did. I'm talking about keeping score. usually when we're saying I sacrificed this or I did this, or how can he do this to me, that means that we're keeping score. We're saying that I've done this stuff, so you should do this for me. You should be this way. So we keep score on what we've done right. We keep score on what our spouse has done wrong. And we keep score on comparing ourselves to other couples. We want to be careful with those things, because those are things that can destroy or break down and can destroy a marriage. So you definitely want to be careful with those things. So when you say that I sacrifice these things, did you do it out the kindness of your heart? Did you do it because that's what you wanted to do? Or did you do it to keep score? And if that's the case, you got to think twice about those things, and think about it in a way that, well, I made these decisions. Even if it's something that he asked you to do, if you did not want to do it, if you had an issue with doing it, and you did it anyway, you are not being true to your authentic self. And the issue does not come with him anymore. It comes with you. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but I'm, not here to make anybody bitter. Definitely here to make people better, because these are things that I had to learn when it came to just my life in general. If I've done anything for anybody, I shouldn't look for anything back in return. If I'm doing it out of the goodness of my heart. I'm doing that because that's the type of person I am. And when it comes to my marriage is my marriage. When it comes to my co-wife's marriage with our husband, it's her marriage. And I know people will say, well, because you guys, are married to the same man, they seem to intertwine and everything like that. Now, it could be some things that could be brought back and forth, meaning that it could be certain energies, it could be certain things like that. But how you deal with it is still how you deal with your marriage. It's still your marriage. Yes, we are all human beings. Yes, sometimes things could, intertwine. But if we allow these things to cause havoc and wreak havoc on our mentality and wreak havoc on our relationships with each other, then that's something we allow to happen. So, for example, if our husband was having a bad day, regardless of where he was or anything like that. Here's the thing, and I've seen this on a number of occasions, but I'm going to give a scenario. But I've seen this happen outside of my marriage, outside of, the marriage, my polygynous union, which there were, where the husband would have an issue. He probably had a bad day at work or whatever, but it didn't have anything to do with either wife. However, one of the wives think that he's having an attitude with her, or he's bringing something that he had from the other wife, or he's having an issue that he's having from the other wife back to the other house. Instead of dealing with it and saying, you know what, I know you're stressed out. I know you're having some issues. Do you want to talk about it? Or, you know what, hey, how about we do something to get your mind off of it and we enjoy our time together? Instead of that being the thing, it becomes an issue with, well, why are you mad? Why are you bringing this here? Whatever. I had a bad day too, or these different things where it's a comparison, it's a keeping score, it's these different things. We gotta really be careful with that. Because if you want to have an outstanding relationship, if you want to have an outstanding marriage, when it comes down to it, you have to be intentional with what you want out of your marriage. So if you're thinking, and it has to be something positive. If you want positivity, then be positive. If you want productivity, if you want your marriage to produce a beautiful, outstanding end result, or just a constantly improving, then you got to be in a state of constant, never-ending improvement. And eventually, if your husband is a good husband, or your spouse, period, is a good spouse, then as long as you're doing the right things will happen. Even if they're not doing it at that time, it's going to come. It's going to happen. Because things are temporary. Stress is temporary. Trouble is temporary. Problems are temporary. A lot of these things are temporary. These different nuances that come into our lives is temporary. And how we deal with it is how it's going to show up. Sometimes we get tested for a reason. We get tested to grow. But the thing is, we get tested to grow. We get tested to be humble. it's a lot of different things, a lot of different reasons where we may be tested. But instead of looking at your husband or your spouse, you know, whether it's the husband to the wife or anything like that, as your end all be all, as your savior, as your knight in shining armor, as your the person that, you know, owes you so much, look at who you want to be in your marriage, what you want your marriage to look like, and build on that, and stop keeping score. Stop saying that I sacrificed this or I did this for you, so I deserve this from you. We have to be, and I say it over and over, that we have to be careful. We have to be careful because that's important. It's very important. So, couple things. I'm just going to recap. Make sure that you are being the best you that you can be in a state of constant, never-ending improvement. Know why you got married in the first place. You know, if you got married because you enjoy the person that, you know, you with, or you see this person as a person that you can see yourself with forever, and you both had these ideas and these goals in your life, sit back and review these things. When anything come into your life that's stressful or that's causing some havoc or that's testing you, make sure you have a plan to sit down and discuss these things, and make sure it's at a time where you both are receptive to each other, where you both have clear heads, and you both are solution oriented. So inshallah, God willing, I hope that this helps. I hope you got some good information from this video. Inshallah, God willing, I will see you soon. Make sure you're constantly practicing GLC, and that you are growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. Until the next one, assalamu alaikum. Peace.